Imagine a world depleted of natural resources, where surviving corporations vie for the refuse of its flooded civilization. The tomb of the man from Brancheville was the door into such a world, and its discovery was the crowning achievement of the career of the late Dr. Ixton Burton, the archaeologist. Paternally data-scanned in 3600 AD, anti-scanned in 3679, and found by the Burton team in 6005, the man from Brancheville was a member of the corporate elite class, which began its domination of world politics during the digital era, approximately 1990 to 2100. Controlling all the world's resources, which were nearly diminished by developers, they prepared for the tidal decade, which was predicted by Oprah Winfrey in 2010 and began in earnest about 20 years later, while the elites created a metal alloy called contexturon that could withstand any environmental impact. Floods wiped out virtually all city dwellers, 9/10 of the world's population at the time, ending humanoid civilization as they knew it. The elites gathered what flotsam and jetsam they could into contexturon bunkers and figured out how to reduce bodily functions, including memory and sex, down to a DNA chip. They constructed bodies from found objects. Styrofoam, a lightweight packing material, was popular, so that their DNA possessed memory tabernacles and covered their structural skeletons with functional contexturon, none of which remains today. The downfall of the corporate elites lies in the mystery surrounding this fact. The elites broke into factions over the control of supplies of uranium and crazy glue, which formed the basis of contexturon, whose compound is now lost. Burial grounds of most elites, such as the man from Brancheville, were raided for contexturon. Foreseeing his own demise, the man from Brancheville anti-scanned himself after leaving his greatest legacy, his story on a laser recording. We know these things from the backs of cereal boxes of the neo-humanoid age, approximately 3700 to 4000 AD. Dr. Ixton Burton, New York University, 6005 AD. The lesser motors were instruments of servitude, created to enhance the performance and enjoyment that elites could derive from data memory. Motos carried the subjugated DNA of humanoids, some of whom tried to join the elites, but were rejected, either out of jealousy, competitiveness, or, in some cases, fear of subversion. The 5 motos pictured here were found in the crypt walls surrounding the man from Brancheville. It may be assumed that they were very special to him. They were anti-scanned by him and placed in the wall before he anti-scanned himself. We can be sure that 5 of these objects are the remains of lesser motos, which functioned as servants before they were taken into the crypt by the man from Brancheville. The 6th, for which no documentation survives, may have been brought in by an elite crew and forgotten in haste during a contexturon raid, although that is unlikely. More probable is the theory that the object was stripped of contexturon and left on the crypt floor because it was no longer useful after the raid. Dr. Ixton Burton, New York University, 6005. See catalogs 1249, 1257, 1321, 1333, and 1368, respectively. The made motto may have contained the DNA of several, many, or simply one chosen humanoid. It was created to care for the body of the man from Brancheville. The maid removed harmful particulates from his person. The PlayStation provided entertainment in the way of sports and games, allowing the man from Brancheville a memory-based play experience. Past events could be recalled or novel ones created by scrambling the genetic information of thousands of humanoid athletes and even his own if he wished. The entertainment module created theatrical or concert situations by simulating memory-based intake of sights, sounds, and sensations generated by the interaction of the encoded DNA of thousands of humanoid actors, writers, and entertainers of all stripes. This motto also provided sexual fantasies and hydrogen psychedelic trips. Hydrogen was the elite drug of choice. The Visual Arts Center stored the DNA of the greatest artists of the humanoid era, including their encoded works of art. With this information at his fingertips, the man from Brancheville could create new works if he so desired. The dog may have contained the DNA of a treasured pet retrieved from his humanoid memory, or possibly it was a dream animal, hybridized from a pedigree selection. In any case, the dog reflected a possible yearning for the man from Brancheville's humanoid origins. It leapt when he entered and barked in greeting. Its contexturon bristles responded to its master's touch. In the years following the title decade, 3000 AD to 4000, the elites, conducting business transactions from the safety of their contexturon bunkers, began to long for the shapes and contours of the landscapes that were scanned into their collective data storage. Their first step was the creation of the Siberian sun pump, restoring parts of the Asian land mass whose vastness made the operation possible. Success emboldened them to proceed with more drastic measures. To the elite mind, the distances between continents were inconvenient. Now they had good reasons to make necessary changes. By moving Greenland and Australia closer to the equator, they were not only more accessible, they were more useful as locations for sun pump drainage systems, enabling the emergence of original outlines. From there, it was a foregone conclusion that the elites would rearrange the entire globe to their liking. Countries didn't exist because borders were irrelevant. Continents and waters were named after dominant corporations. Most of the old place names were reinstated with the fall of the elites, but we are left with the physical changes they enacted. Perhaps unintentionally, they have allowed our planet to restore so that we humanoids of 6005 may enjoy its benefits. But while preparing this map, I was moved to think of the suffering inflicted on our ancestors who had already endured the tidal decade. Indeed, I shed a few tears into the Southeast Asian Ocean. To me, it shall always be the ocean of tears. Dr. Ixtan Verton, New York University, 6005 AD.